the show here on IntellectualRadio.com, a iHeart station, and I'm your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gant, here with another episode, another edition of a great author. You a great author here tonight, and like I always start off with the show, I have to give a promote the sponsors of the show. One of the sponsors is unknowngreatness.com, where you can buy books from independent authors from around the country. Another is uh, help. I'm sorry, I got to put my glasses on. So another one is handle all of our showcases that we have, as well as Love to Learn Center that handle all our workshops as well. Let me give you some things what's going on that what we have going on in the next few weeks. On April 13th, 2019, Saturday, 2:30 to 5:30, we have a business showcase at 4900 South Lakeshore Drive at the Lakeshore Hotel, and we'll be there showcasing. This one will be much interesting because I am going to pretty much do the whole thing myself. Normally, I do a 30, 45-minute presentation on a topic. However, because of the demand, more people want to hear me say something about what's going on. And I'm going to be talking some things about business as well as branding and also promoting at that particular date. On April 27th, that's another Saturday, 2019, we're actually going to do a speaker showcase. So we'd love to have you there so you can see that. Obviously, all the events are free. Come on in there and meet some speakers and also showcase and bring your business card so you can meet some more people. On May 4th, a Saturday, from 2:30 to 5:30, we have the business showcase. Again, other business people will be at this one, and I'll share the stage with those people in the attempt to help them meet you and help you meet them. And then May 18th, we have another author showcase as well, Saturday, 2:30 to 5:30 at 4900 South Lakeshore Drive. So all of these are in the same place. If you want to be part of the uh, book collaboration that's going on, please get in contact with me. You can email me at drtonygant@gmail.com, as well as pricelesspublishing50 at yahoo.com. So either one of those emails, you can send something to me. Um, I think that's what we have so far. I want you also to realize, also some of our advertising or promotion partners. We have the UPS store at Lake Meadows Shopping Center, 3473 Martin Luther King Drive. Just ask for Dave, and he can help you with a lot of your UPS needs if you're in that area. Tracy James, she's a master MC. So if you have an event and you want to do some things with and need an MC, a great MC, you can contact Tracy James, 708-269-6593. Her email, trayfab, TRAYFAB at gmail.com. That's trayfab. I didn't give you the Lakeshore Meadows Shopping Center UPS store. Their phone number, 312-567-9090. If you're looking to buy and sell some real estate in the Chicagoland area, surrounding suburbs, you can call Pamela Boone at Option Realty Incorporated, and you can reach her at 773-447-8546. Again, that's 773-447-8546. Or you can email her at pam at keepitmoving.us. If you're looking to be a part of a great expo and be a vendor or participate, this is a woman empowering event. Erica Gilchrist is a speaker, author, and also an expo owner. She has an event coming up in the next 30 days or so. You might want to contact her. She's at info at theunstoppablewoman.net. And if you want to contact her by phone, 866-443-6769. And then if you want a great accountant to help you with your business and your taxes and all those good things, you can contact Carla Madison at Madison Financial Solutions. And her address is 9901 South Western Avenue, Suite 205. And her phone number is 773-239-6100. And her email is CMADISON at MFS, the number 4, the letter U.com. So those are some of our, and we have some others, and I announced those in the middle of the show. Stay tuned to our Sunday show, my new Sunday show that'll be airing here on Intellectual Radio, called A Greater You. So that'll be airing this Sunday from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can see me then, and that's our self-help show with a master class, book club, all wrapped into one radio show to help people out with different issues. We want to make sure we can help people that's going through depression and mental health and mental illness and things of that nature. We're not, um, people that's going to try to solve all your problems, but I'm going to encourage you to get some help. Seek help if you need it. Don't be ashamed of seeking help. The objective is for that show is to help you become a better person. What I would do each week, I would teach on a particular topic of a book that I've written. And next in the month of April, is the book Becoming a Better Me. That's the book that we have. You can order that now from unknowngreatness.com if you like, and you can follow along with me. You can send your questions in, and I'll try to make sure I answer them on the show, or at least tell you what chapter in the book where you can find the answer to help you. And every month we'll do that. So every Sunday is a different portion of the book, and then the following month we'll do an event that you can come to. And the event will be $20 at the same place. It'll be on a Sunday evening from 5 to 7 in the evening. Normally it'll be the second Sunday of the month. In May it won't be there because that's Mother's Day, and we don't compete with Mother's Day. So we're gonna it'll be probably the first Sunday of the month. It'll be $20 to entry, and then your $20 is a credit to any book in my library. It'd be a credit that you can use on anything that I have in my library. And also we have $100 VIP where you also get the $20 credit. You also get to choose another book out of my library as well, and then you also get dinner in my mastermind session after that event. And that's how we'll do it every month. So every month it'll be a different book. But in April, Becoming a Better Me, you can order that from unknowngreatness.com. So I have said a whole lot, announced a whole lot. Now we're going to get to the good part. That was just the appetizer, what I was talking about. So we're going to get to the good part. And we have our author for this evening, Miss Rita Emmett, awesome lady, best-selling author, written a few books. And obviously, this is the author show, right? So obviously, I'm talking about somebody that's written some books. And I want to definitely want you to get your pens and paper out because you're going to learn a whole lot tonight. And she wrote this book called The Clutter Buster Handbook. That's one of them. She also wrote a book called the author of the Procrastination Handbook, and Franco the Shark, You Are Not Stupid. So we're going to go over some things there, but get your pens and paper out because she's going to cover a lot of ground tonight. And she's going to tell you exactly where to get the book as well, too. So without any further ado, Miss Rita Emmett, are you there?
I am here, Tony, and I always enjoy being with you. In fact, the other day when you said this will be just like our usual conversations on the phone, my first thought was, what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, we do talk a lot when we talk, don't we?
Okay, let's get rolling. I want to tell your people first, though, that so many people feel that they were born loving clutter. It's genetic. They inherited it from their parents. They say, I am this way and I can't change it. It's my DNA. It's my character flaw. I want to share with them that I was the world's greatest pack rat. I was very close to being a hoarder because I had clutter everywhere. There was no clear surface, but in our dining room, we had a path through whole stacks of papers and stuff. The dining room, literally, there was a path which was right on the brink of being a hoarder. I converted, and now I don't have any clutter in my life. So, Tony, one of the biggest things you're offering today, more than tips, is hope.
I like that.
You're giving people hope.
That's good. I like that. That's very good because, a lot of us have clutter. I know clutter is a issue that I have to deal with and have to deal with pretty much most of my life, because I think everything is super important. That I cannot throw that away. It's super important. I may need that 1 year.
1 year, yeah. And you're right when you say most of your life. I think back about how embarrassing it was with my bedroom, how cluttered it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So let's go through that. Well, let's find out a little bit about Rita Emmett. I know you, but the people in the audience may not know you. So tell us a little bit about Rita Emmett, what she does, what she did before she written all these great books. And so,
well, it's very interesting that you're talking about mental health, because I worked in a mental health agency for 18 years, and they would ask me to develop programs for people on the waiting list. And these people had a communication problem. So we'd have an 8-week communication program and offer it to the community, and people would take it. And one of them was a time management program. And there was nothing out there procrastination. This was 25 years ago, except by psychologists for psychologists. And after a few sessions of, because I had the luxury of teaching in a class, I'd say, for procrastination, go home and try this. And they'd come back and they'd say that worked, or they'd say that didn't work. And I too was a great procrastinator. That for me, that went hand in hand with the clutter. And as I converted and they converted, it was like, wow, nobody knows this. So I decided to write the book. I never wrote a book in my life. I had no connections. But I did call the president of the publishing company and say, could we make this book in a paperback? Because I don't think procrastinators want to spend 25 or 30 bucks for a book, but they might spend, $15 for a paperback. And he said, we could do it, Rita, but you're going to lose on royalties. The amount you get paid for every book sold, the royalties.
Right.
And I said, how many books am I going to sell? 50? 100? I don't know how to sell books. And then it sold 100,000 the first year, 100,000 copies the first year.
That's
and
good.
It's in 32 countries. I have my book in Japanese and in all different languages. So I tell people, if you have a book in your heart, write it. You just don't know what'll happen. You just don't know what'll happen.
That's true. And I like how you said that, because if you have one, you might as well go ahead and write it, because you might end up selling 100,000 copies like Rita Emmett in the first year.
A lot of people have a book in their heart. They say, well, no, nobody will want it. You don't know. You just don't know.
That's true. You don't. So that's good. I like that background. And we're going to talk a little bit about procrastination too. We're going to spend a lot of time tonight on the clutter busting handbook, because a lot of people, or some people, they don't have this issue. But if they have an issue with procrastination, like you said, they probably had an issue with clutter, and vice versa. If they have an issue with clutter, they have an issue with procrastination that they need to tend to. So when we think of clutter, some people may think of clutter as probably people that's not neat. Maybe I don't have everything in order. So when you say clutter, what are you saying by that for the audience?
I'm saying a whole bunch of stuff taking up space that you'd like to be using the space for other things. And it's stuff that you don't need or use.
Okay.
And so you keep stuff you don't need, you don't use, and it takes up space. Now, then some people kind of have like if it's animals, my clutter was wild animals that prowled all around my house. Some people have tame clutter. Their house looks clutter-free, but oh my goodness, you go down in the basement, you go into the garage, you open a closet door, and everything falls on your head.
Right.
So it's that stuff that you wish you had empty space, but you keep. I love what you said before. You're keeping the stuff because you might need it someday.
Yeah.
No, you said I might need it someday.
Some year I might need this. One of these decades.
Yeah, one of these decades. And so, and it's one of those things that people wish was gone, but can't make it gone. And then, Tony, as we're starting this show, I want to share with you and with your people. I could give them all the tips in the world, but if they don't change their attitude, if they don't change their their way of thinking, the tips won't work, or they'll work and then they'll just replace the clutter. So we're going to talk a lot today more about the way we think. Like you said, I might use it someday. Why do people save their clutter? And some of the reasons. And so we're going to talk about trying to change the way they think. And that's really, I think, basically the way I talk to myself.
I like that.
If I tell myself I might need this in 30 years, I tell myself, I don't need it. But somebody, somewhere, someplace on this planet is going to need it. So if I donate it to a place like Salvation Army or Goodwill, they're going to pick it up and go, oh, I wanted this so badly, but I couldn't afford it. But here I can afford it. And so we're making it a better world.
I like that.
If we can start changing the way we think about stuff. And so you'll hear me give whatever you ask, I'll answer. But a lot of times I'll give tips and then I'll try to sneak in something about changing the way you think.
Yeah, I think it always starts there. I like the way you have the book set up too. For those people when they purchase it, they'll see you have two parts to the book, and that's what I like. It's real simple, 180 about 185 pages or so. But you have a when enough becomes too much. That's part one, and part two, get rid of clutter and keep it out. I mean, that's real simple right there. So I want to talk with you a little about chapter three because I think a lot of people can get something out of this. 50 ways to leave your clutter.
Yeah.
50 ways. I mean, is that many ways? That's a lot of ways to help me get my house clutter free, right?
You betcha. You betcha.
So-
And we'll just plant a bunch of seeds today, but they could think of other stuff. One of the things that's not in here is I never thought of it. A woman went to her big brother passed away. She went to his house, and he was a bit of a hoarder of food, and he had tons of canned goods and stuff like that. And she lives here in the Chicago area like you and I do, and this was out in Nebraska. So what's she going to do? Pay a fortune to bring all these cans of soup and everything home? You know what she did? She called the local food pantry. Isn't that brilliant?
yes, that's a good idea.
People who needed her brother's food would get it then. And that's what happens for most of the ways to get rid of our clutter. Yes, there are ways to sell it in a garage sale or sell it on eBay. I'm not about that, and there are certainly valid ways you do make money. However, I think that if you have garage sales, then you go to garage sales. So you sell your clutter and take that money and run around and buy other people's clutter.
you get you some new clutter in your house, right?
I'll get some new fresh clean clutter in my house. You betcha.
There's nothing like new clutter.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so let's go over a couple of the ways. I know you said that with the food, canned goods and things of that nature that they can give away. So let's go over a couple of ways that you have in the book in regards to getting rid of some of the clutter that we have in the house. So
okay. There are many ways, and first of all, now with Google, you can Google local places too. There are many ways to make money by, as I said, eBay, a garage sale, a classified ad. There are some resale stores that buy on contingency. They, if they sell your item, you get 50% and they get 50%. We do have near us an eBay lady. The company is called I Sold It, all one word with no spaces in it. ISoldIt.com, and I found them online, and I bring my stuff to her, and I felt like I was going to donate this stuff. So whatever I get, if I get 10%, I'd be happy. I get 60%. She gets something like 35%, and eBay gets 5%. And it's like, that's nice. I do mostly donate our stuff, but the stuff that's really good quality, we spent a lot of money on, I bring that over to her a couple of times a year. But when we talk about donating, I choose to donate to Goodwill. I have to tell you, we live in Des Plaines, and there used to be a guy named Michael who would come out when your car pulled up before you even turned off the ignition. He'd be out there to help you. I don't see him lately. He's not around. But he had this little speech memorized. He'd say, "Thank you for donating to Goodwill because you're giving us these items. My friends and I have a job to come to every day. And if you go next door to the Goodwill store and buy something, then you're giving them work to do too. So you've made this a better world." And I got to tell you, one time my neighbor said that every single person who drops stuff off drives away with a big grin going, "I just made the better world." But it's true.
Right. It is.
True. Because he's saying we gave him and his friends work. We gave the people in the store work. And then somebody who wanted this item is going to get it. So, I mean, and that's really one of the first steps to do before you even start getting rid of your clutter is think of a family or a person or an organization that you would like to give your stuff to, that you're going to feel good about it. But in this thing about 50 ways to get rid of your clutter, we list a lot of donation places. You know, I drive to Goodwill and drop it off. But there are many organizations, including Salvation Army, which is listed in here, and 3 vet groups. And I can name like the 6 dwarfs, and I can never get that 7th one. And I don't know if I can. There's some place in this book, the disabled vets, Vietnam vets, and AM vets. They have a fabulous system. They'll call up and say, we're going to be picking up on such and such a date. Would you like us to stop? Yes. Would you like us to send you a postcard ahead of time? So they send you a postcard. I put it on the fridge. It reminds me. Then she says, would you like a reminder phone call the night before? And you can say yes or no. Then you put it out the next morning. They take it away. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's a good deal. And I like that a lot.
Oh, that sounds good. I mean, you have some really good tips in here. You know, I like the way when you say donate it, because when you just have it in your house, in your garage, in your basement or attic, you're not making any money on it anyhow, right? It's not like it's doing anything. So donating it to other people that probably could use it and probably get more use out of it, because if it's just in your garage, it's not being used anyhow.
Yeah,
So
I agree. And a lot of times people say, oh, I can't get rid of it. I paid so much money for it. So you're letting it become clutter, taking up space you can't afford. You don't use it. You don't need it. But in our life, there's going to be stuff we pay. Everybody who has a whole bunch of old audio cassettes, you paid money for them.
That's true.
You can't find anything that'll even play them now. It's time to get rid of them. However, Goodwill accepts them because somebody somewhere buys them. And one of the things is, you could donate everything to the Salvation Army or an organization. But if you really want, you can look around. For example, a friend just heard his dad, and if he bought one tool, he got his dad the same tool, and his dad did the same for him. So when his dad passed away, all of Dad's tools were wonderful, but they were duplicates of what this guy Tom already had. And so it was Tom who helped me make up a list for the book, and I'm going to just read these to you. You could pass them on to newlyweds. People get married, and they usually don't even own a hammer between them.
That's true.
Give it to somebody moving into their first house or apartment, or who's recently been divorced and now on their own. You could donate them to a high school vocational class. Give them to a theater group. By the way, I had a whole bunch of outdated, chunky jewelry that I was going to donate to Goodwill. And it just coincidentally, the teenager 2 doors down, the young woman who's in musicals, we always go to her high school musicals. They're wonderful. She said, don't forget, if you ever have any jewelry you want to donate, our theater group will take it. It was like, oh, I never thought of that. So I gave her a whole bunch of chunky jewelry. And the next time they did a play called Joseph and the Amazing Colored...
Oh, Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Right.
There was my earrings sparkling on somebody's ears. So, okay, you could give them to a theater group. Okay, donate them to a church or food pantry connected with people who are starting over, or contribute to Habitat for Humanity. You might think to yourself, well, they're not going to need my power drill because they already have a power drill. Right, but they're building homes for people who don't have a power drill. And for them to be able to say, we built you this home, and here's a couple of tools, that's very cool. So one of the changes of attitude is thinking, it's sitting here annoying me because it's clutter, collecting dust, taking up space that I would rather have used for something else. I don't need it or use it, and somebody else is going to be thrilled with what I have. Just thrilled. And sometimes it just takes a little talking to friends about it. A friend who was very, very much into crafts, didn't know what to do with all these beads and everything that she had. And the local high school and a Girl Scout troop were thrilled to get them. And I want to tell you a real quick story about a woman named Ginger. Her mother collected salt and pepper shakers. And so her mother had 98 sets of salt and pepper shakers.
Wow, that's a lot of salt and pepper.
Cabinet. She literally went to a conference, Tony, where other people who also collected salt and pepper shakers were there. And they were like little bunny rabbits and little penguins and they weren't just normal stuff you see in a restaurant. They were cute little tiny castles. They were really cute. She had them all on display in a beautiful china cabinet. But when she died, her daughter Ginger couldn't take the china cabinet. Ginger already had one. And so she packed them up, but you can't pack two glass or ceramic salt and pepper shakers together. So she had to wrap almost 200 items, even though there was less than 100 sets. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I do. Right, yeah. two times 96.
So she had 3 boxes sitting in her kitchen. And I said, what's that about? Junky old cardboard boxes right in her kitchen. She says, I don't know what to do. Those boxes have been there since my mom died 3 months ago. She said, my mother loved those, but I don't. And she says, I can't get rid of something my mother loved. I don't know what to do. So we chatted about it a little bit. But later that week, she dreamt that her mom came to her and said, honey, I love you very much. And you know I loved those salt and pepper shakers. But I don't want something that I loved to become a burden to you. Donate them. Get rid of them. Enjoy getting rid of those 3 boxes. Release them. So instead of just bringing them remember when I said, give some thought to who you want to donate to because you might enjoy thinking of something creative. She went to the local dollar store, and for $1 you get 5 of those little tiny gift bags. They're like just 3 inches by 3 inches, or maybe they're smaller than that. And she got a bunch of them, and they put a set in each bag and give one to her 11-year-old daughter's teachers, one to the 3 scout leaders, one to the lady that they always went through, the same lady when they checked out at the grocery store, one to the receptionist of their doctor. People's faces lit up when they got these cute there were 2 little skunks that went to one lady's, and I got to see her reaction. She said, these are the cutest things I ever saw. So Ginger had fun and joy and delight getting rid of what her mother loved, but Ginger didn't love. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
There is a real sense. There's so many levels. When you get rid of clutter, you not only have this clean space, and you feel like I've achieved something. If I can get rid of that clutter, I can do anything. But your stuff is going to make somebody else happy.
Right.
And that's kind of cool.
I think, sometimes that is a good idea. I like how you put that, because I think sometimes people are so used to the clutter that they have. If that space get cleared out, they almost feel obligated that I need to put something else there. Right there.
Or they can just enjoy having a clear countertop.
Right. Haven't seen that countertop since I moved in the house 10 years ago. Right. So now I didn't know it looked that good.
When I was into clutter, my brother said, when I go to sell the house, I'll get top dollar because not one speck of sunshine or dust ever touched any horizontal spot in my house. Everything was just jam-packed with everything.
Right. I like that. Rita, I want you to give people how can we get your book? Where can we purchase it from, and how can we contact you if we want it?
Okay. I think your best bet is Amazon, because sometimes they put my books on really a sale. They sold back in last June my clutter book, which is on it. It stamps on it that it sells for.
It says 15 or here.
15, yeah.
Right.
Sells for 15. They were selling it for $2.99.
Whoa.
And it was like, your best bet is get it there.
Right.
And if you're a Prime member, you don't even have to pay shipping.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one place. Most bookstores do have my books too. I've got, and then to get supplemental stuff though, I do know that a lot of people don't like to read. They don't like reading. They're smart people, but they don't like reading. So I've got supplemental stuff on my website, like CDs and DVDs and stuff like that they could get and listen to or watch. And my website is very cleverly named RitaEmmett.com. So that's And then Emmett has two M's, two T's. So it's EMMETT. Actually, it has two E's, two M's, two T's. EMMETT.com. A guy said to me, what do you mean it's creatively named ReadEmmett.com? What's creative about that? And I said, I can remember it.
I guess that is creative. Maybe that's what I start using now when I can remember things. I like that.
And another thing is to donate clothes to all over the place, that people are collecting clothes, but to remember that the poor deserve dignity. So if it's so stained you can't get it cleaned, and if it's ripped and you can't mend it, then just throw it out. Or but talk about creativity. If you have towels that you shouldn't be donating to people, they're spotted and that, or blankets, or even quilts that are all ripped and junky, your local pet store or your local pet rescue place, or your local Tony, what's that called? The pet protect place. I want to say ACLU, and that's not it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The pet rescue. I can't think of it right off.
Okay, if you know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm talking about, then we got to assume your listeners.
They know too. Yeah, they're smart. Yeah. They know.
But any place that is trying to help out animals, they can use your towels. They could use your blankets. Pass it on.
Well, I never thought of that. That makes a lot of sense. I never
know.
Because normally I just throw those things out after a while, but that makes a lot of sense. You can take some of these old towels and things like that, and you can donate it to them because they need that when they rescuing animals. And yeah, that's good.
One of the things I've learned over the years too is that if you've got sweatpants or sweatshirts or loose fitting stuff like that, to ask if the emergency room at your local hospital wants them. A lot of them, they have to cut off people's clothes if the people have been in an accident.
Oh, wow.
And it's nice to offer them something like that,
Okay, that's a good idea too. I never thought of that. That's why we're talking to you.
Yes. But one of the things we've discovered is that so many of us, you save your baby's crib or bassinet or whatever. You save a whole bunch of your baby stuff because you want to pass it on to your babies, as your mother passed on to you and as her mother passed on to her. But today's generation does not want used stuff. I've seen that over and over again. The mom says, this was your crib when you were a baby. No, Mom, we want to get our baby new stuff. And one of the saddest stories was a guy told me that his dad read him a series of books when he was little. And I'm so sorry I didn't ask him what they were. I'm picturing it would be like the Hardy Boys or something, because it's a series like that. And his dad read him the whole series when he was a little boy. And he got that same set. And he read that same set to his son. And now his son was stationed in Japan. He was grown up and married, and they had a little baby boy. So when the dad packed up to go visit his son in Japan, he packed up all these books, and he had to pay extra because books in a suitcase are heavy. And the boy said to him, oh, Dad, thanks. This is so thoughtful, but we're going to get him new books. But I'll donate these to the library. That's how much this generation doesn't want you. No?
Right.
Now, my generation, and I don't know about yours, would have said, yes, there's a lot of sentimental value. Nope, not at all.
Yes, people try to create their own lane. That's okay too. But like even with books, a lot of times people have books in their house, and they can also give those to the library that if they like, and donate them to the library. Library will take them.
Absolutely. And if the library doesn't need them, almost every library has a group called Friends of the Library, and they have a sale once or twice a year. And they earn money to give to the library so the library can buy the books they do need in that. My best friend, Ruth, has passed away, but she was blind. And she had a stack of Braille magazines and books. And she says, I can't imagine anybody wanting these. She said, I'm just going to throw them out, because she was decluttering. I was helping her declutter. So I said, let me call my library. And I called them, and they went, we'd be thrilled. We'd be thrilled. And then what they have is they set up a section so that all the other libraries in the area, if they want something Braille, they could get it from our library. They were thrilled to have Braille stuff. People would like to have, so there's just no end to how people. Oh, and one quick story was we were talking about this thing about the next generation not wanting stuff, and a woman told me she had boxes of her daughter's baby clothes and bassinet and the stroller and the buggy. And I said, ask her if she's going to want it. She's married now. They're going to have a baby one of these days. Ask her if she wants it. And this friend of mine called and said, no, her daughter didn't want it. She said, but you know what? We have a family down the way that the husband has been deployed to Iraq. And the mom is home with two little ones. And they don't have the husband's income. He went from something like 80 grand a year to 30. I think his military pay was something like 36 grand a year or something. And they were dead broke. She was struggling along. She gave all this stuff to the wife of the fellow who was deployed to Iraq. The mom burst into tears. Her baby was only 3 months old, and she was getting a stroller, a buggy, clothes, and everything. She just burst into tears. She was like, I've been praying for an answer, and you're the answer to my prayers.
That's good. I like that.
We really are making people happy by us getting rid of our stuff. And if you are really into clutter and your spouse isn't, you're making your spouse happy too by getting rid of your clutter.
Yes. So we can see the floor now, right? Yeah. I like the quote you had in chapter 3, under the title. You said, the wise man does not lay up his own treasures. The more he gives to others, the more he has found his own.
Oh, that is so true.
Yeah, that's and all this is what you're sharing with us is, like you said, making other people happy, and it's kind of hard not to be happy when you make other people happy. So that's a good one. I want to ask you some things about chapter 6. And
okay. Let me just share one more thought, and that is the most popular quote. Thank you for that quote, too. There's a lot of quotes in this book.
Yes, I see.
The most popular one that I get the most emails about that people say this was really meaningful to me is, if you don't have enough room for all your stuff, you don't need more room. You need less stuff. And I encourage people when they start their journey of clutter busting to write that down. I wrote it down on a Post-it and put it above my phone. If you don't have enough room for all your stuff, you don't need more room, you need less stuff. And as I was towards the middle of writing books, I had a lot of papers, you accumulate stuff for your books. And I looked up at that, and I had said to my husband, I need a new file cabinet. And he says, do you need the kind that's hanging files? Yeah, I need hanging files. Do you need 2 drawer, 3 drawer, 4 drawer? I'm going to need a 3 drawer at least. Okay. So we're going to go out and get one. And I looked at that and I thought, wait a minute. And then at night during commercials while watching TV, I grab 3 files every night that I think of it and go through. Tony, I was able to empty a drawer and a half, and I didn't really need a new file. I needed less paper. I was saving paper. I was saving stuff, Tony, that with the push of a button you could get on the internet.
Right. So that's how that's kind of leading us into chapter 6 then, like how to handle paper and computer info clutter. Yeah. Okay. I think a lot of people may have that because obviously writing books, like you said, especially when you use a computer and everything, you think you need to keep everything, even after you have written the book 5 years ago.
That's right.
Right. So
tell me, that's exactly what I was coming across. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think you need. I know every time I write a book, and obviously you know how it goes too, because you've written several, that you have all these different notes and ideas, and then eventually you end up writing a book, and half the notes that you had when you started you really didn't use, or you formulated to something else. But the book's been out maybe 5, 6, 8, 10 years, but you still had that file with all those notes that you didn't use and probably not going to use for anything else. So I understand how that goes.
And you know what? At the beginning of this, you asked me what books I've written, and I know this is rare for you and me, but I went off topic. And so my first book was The Procrastinator's Handbook. The next one is The Procrastinating child. It's for helping your kid who procrastinates stop procrastinating. The third one is clutter busting handbook. Fourth one, the next one is manage your time to reduce your stress. And then you mentioned my first picture book, which is Sparkle Shark, You Are Not Stupid. And what happened there, Tone, is that I bet this has happened to you too. I have met a lot of kids who are in special ed, and they don't do well on tests at school, so they think they're stupid. And I've had so many, especially little boys, tell me, not really that smart. Then the kid starts talking about dinosaurs or pets or computers, and the kid is a genius, but they're not good at answering. They're not good at one way of learning, and that's, do a test. But there's so many other ways to learn, and they're so smart. So Einstein, of all people, gave me the quote that this book is based on. Einstein said, everyone is a genius. But if a fish is judged by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life feeling stupid.
That's good. That's true.
So this book is about a little shark who's the only one in his class of monkeys, and the monkeys make fun of him for not climbing the tree. And you can guess what happens. They fall in the water. They don't know how to swim. He saves them.
That's good.
It's very simple. It's for, kids 8 years old and under, or sometimes 10-year-olds. But I got an email from a guy yesterday that they're converting to a new computer system in his office. He bought 8 of the books for his 8 coworkers. They're all going, I'm so stupid.
That makes sense. So now, where can we get the other books that you have as well? Same place?
They're all on Amazon.
Okay,
They're all
sounds
on
good.
Amazon.
Sounds good.
You could get them from me, but I'm out of town a lot, and we've got a real medical thing happening in our family, medical emergency. So I think people are better off getting them
from Amazon.
From Amazon, yeah.
Okay. You have a newsletter that you come out with periodically too, don't you?
And it's absolutely free. That's right. And it comes out every month. And guess what it covers? It covers procrastination, clutter, and stress.
Okay, so how can we be a part of that newsletter? What do we need to do?
My very creatively named website named RitaEmmett.com. And then you scroll towards the bottom and then you sign up there. And I don't share anybody's information with anybody else. I will not sell it out or give it out to anybody so they could start bombarding you with emails. And I try to keep them kind of short. Yeah.
I like that.
And what it is, it's one aspect of procrastination. And you asked me about papers in our house and our family, papers cluttering us.
Right.
Well, no, I should let you ask, because let's see where you want to go with.
Well, yeah. Just I want to talk about that. How do you get papers and how do you declutter those things? Because a lot of people have papers that they're going to get to. I use the system. And I learned it maybe 30 years ago, but I think it took me 20 years to actually start using it. But when I get an envelope, when I touched it, I put the number 1 on it, because you're always going to do something with this envelope or paper later. And after I got to the 3rd time, I had to either, trash it or do something with it, more concrete, besides moving from that pile to the other pile, right? So that's something that I try to use myself. But what other tips do you have for people to try to declutter paperwork and things of that nature?
Okay. One of the first things is any decluttering you do, whether it's paper or regular, set an hour to do it. Literally put a kitchen timer on if you want. See, here's the thing, Tony. A lot of people say, I don't have a whole Saturday to get rid of my paper clutter. I don't have a whole evening free of interruptions to start decluttering my desk or the clutter all around the house, the paper clutter. And most of us don't. We don't have a free. We're never going to have a Saturday, and we're never going to have an evening free of interruptions. Mm-hmm. But for an hour, most of us can find an hour, maybe not an hour a day, but almost everyone can find an hour a week. Devote that to your paper clutter. Here's why. First of all, because an hour is much easier to do than a whole Saturday. But secondly, with those papers, you're deciding, am I going to keep this? If yes, where will I put it? If I'm not going to keep it, if no, how will I get rid of it? So a couple of things there. Before you even start on that paper clutter, I recommend you figure out where do you want to put this paper. If you don't have a place to put it, the stuff that you've decided to keep, if you don't have a place to put it, you're going to do the clutter shuffle. You're going to take it out of this stack and put it over here till I think of where I want to put it, and you've just moved the clutter from one stack to the other. If you have a file cabinet, make up a file for what accumulates. When I was making up my first file, and I still have this, by the way, one of the things that was among the papers was crazy, stupid vacations. Somebody would be going on a weird vacation, and I'd say, bring me back information. No, I shouldn't say crazy, stupid, but odd. I had something on the mules to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I kept that, and I did ride a mule to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and 2 years later, I rode horses on the other side down. Yes, I did. However, I thought, where does this go? There's no file for it. I got a file in my file cabinet now that says places I'm going to. And I put in there stuff like those vacation brochures. If you give me directions to a place we're meeting, that's going to go in that file. If I get an invitation to a wedding, that's going to go in that file. If I sign up to attend a conference or a seminar, all the places I'm going to go in there. And then when I'm ready to go there, I look through the papers and there's my directions. It's not in a 14-inch thick stack of paper. It's in a little file. So when you go to decide where your stuff goes, make it up. What is accumulating on your desk? Is it bills? Maybe you want to learn how to pay your stuff electronically. It's cheaper. You save on paper. You save on stamps. But if you don't want to learn electronically, you need a place for the bills. Long before I had my first file cabinet, I remember driving past a garage sale and going in the car and going back and getting that crazy little 2-drawer file cabinet. But before that, I kept my bills in a shoebox in a closet. And I kept other papers like warranties and that in another shoebox. However, one of the things I recommend is if you have an operating manual with some new appliance, check online. 99% of them, the operating manuals are online. And I used to have a file of operating manuals, but I got rid of them. So before you start, though, decide, okay, as I go through here, when I find stuff, I'm going to make up a file, or I'm going to get a box, a shoebox or something. You know what? Even before the shoebox was in the closet, it was under my bed. I mean, I really had a very primitive start to all this. And then also before you start, decide that you're just going to do 1 hour. But another thing is, whether you're doing paper or other clutter, pick a small area. Don't decide, I'm going to get rid of all the paper clutter in my whole world. No, pick an area. Is it where do you have? Well, when we talk about places to go, that stuff goes. When the mail comes, get yourself a box or maybe an attractive basket and put it where all your mail that arrives, the U.S. mail, the snail mail, where it arrives, put it in that basket. And if the basket gets full and it's overflowing, how about that thing I mentioned before? If you don't have enough room for all your stuff, you don't need more room and you need less stuff. So now it's time to go through there. And I recommend if you get a lot of junk mail in your U.S. mail, open that mail, buy a waste basket, and dump stuff immediately. If if you're getting catalogs, get rid of the catalogs, recycle them, or put them in a waste basket. And then figure out how to stop that catalog from coming. There's a few things. Oh, Tony, I don't have them in my brain right now, but Google it. Google how to stop junk mail.
Comes to your house. Okay, I like that.
And also I encourage people to stop thinking of their waste basket as an evil monster that's going to gobble up all your important data. Think of it as a friend that needs nourishment and feed your waste. And then don't get a teeny tiny itty bitty dainty waste basket unless you have teeny tiny itty bitty dainty paper clutter. If you have mega paper clutter like most of us get, then get a mega waste basket. And when I go through stuff on my desk, I always have a giant recycle thing next to me because I believe in recycling. And so I have a big recycle thing, and I don't have a lot of stuff in my office that doesn't go in recycle. So pretty much that's where everything goes. But that's going to help you a lot. And let me go backwards to the other clutter thing we talked about, your generic clutter.
Right.
If you decide you're going to donate, like we donate to Goodwill,
Right.
we keep a box on a shelf in a walk-in closet. And then if I take a sweatshirt out of the dryer, it's nice and clean, and I look at it and I know I'm never going to wear it again. Instead of stuffing it back into a drawer, I put it in the donation box.
I like that.
And you could have a plastic bag or a shelf or a box. It could be in the basement. It could be in the garage. Could be in a closet. A friend told me the story that she had her family over for something and she was making mashed potatoes and her sister she said, the third drawer down, get my potato masher. And her sister said, oh, you got 3 of them. She said, pick the best one and let's get rid of the other 2. And her sister handed her the best one and put the other 2 back in the drawer. And she said, no. In the closet where we hang everybody's coats when they come in, on the floor, you'll see a box. Put the 2 potato mashers in there. That's my donation box for the Salvation Army.
I like that.
Well, her sister thought it was weird, but a couple of weeks later, her sister said, we filled up that box in no time.
Yeah.
Because without the box, what are you doing? You're stuffing it back in the drawer.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Rita, you gave a lot of good information. I want you to, a final thought, then I want you to give your information one more time because we're ready to close out. So a final thought about clutter busting that we can give for Emmett.
Well, you have to imagine, how would you like your place to be? How would you like your life to be? How would you like your home or your desk or your office to be? Picture how you'd like it and realize you're going to feel fantastic when you get rid of that clutter. And it doesn't have to be a whole Saturday. You can put aside 10 minutes every morning getting rid of paper clutter, or just 10 minutes every day to just clear the clutter off a counter, and you're going to feel like $1,000,000. One of the things that it really gave me was confidence that I'm not, I think because of my clutter, I felt like a loser. I felt stupid. I felt out of control. I have no control over the clutter in my life. And by getting rid of it, I got very powerful feelings. I felt very empowered. It was almost like if I could do that, I can do a lot.
Right.
You're going to feel fantastic, but just start with one little corner of the kitchen counter or an end table or a coffee table or something simple.
Okay.
Don't overwhelm yourself and try to do everything at once.
That's good. Rita, I really appreciate you with all the information you give. Again, you can get the Clutter Busting Handbook by Rita Emmett, RitaEmmett, and you can find her books on Amazon.com. You also can go to her website, which is Rita Emmett, right? RitaEmmett.com, and you can sign up for a newsletter. So every month you'll get a different, some tips on conquering procrastination and time management and decluttering, all those type of things.
Email, and they're free.
And they come by email and they're free. So Rita, I really do appreciate you and appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing with me your information that you have, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Tony, I genuinely enjoy. We could have just a whole hour just on paper. Couldn't we? Okay, thank you for it was my pleasure to join you and your listeners. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good night. Okay.
Okay. Same to you, love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Rita Emmett, and you all can get her book, and I'm going to share with you, close out on a couple of things. Again, some of our promotion partners, we have Aubrey Locke. He's a senior loan consultant at Key Mortgage, 9661 West 143rd Street, Suite 201 in Orland Park, Illinois. His phone number is 708-439-3632. So if you're looking to purchase a home or purchase a building, purchase any property, the guy can help you get them closed. Miss Lynn Ross, we interviewed her earlier this week for your financial empowerment, and her number is 773-680-2391, and she's with Primerica, and she can help you as well. We have Andre at Bronzeville Barbershop, 122 East 35th Street, Chicago, Illinois. Phone number is 312-326-4646. 5555. And then Donna Bassetti, she's an author, speaker, and she writes books for young African American children. You can reach her at 708-747-6822. Uh, and her email is DONNA, B as in boy, at D as in dollar, AWSONTWINS.com. So you can check her out. And then Jay Styles, matter of fact, we interviewed him last week on the show, and he wrote a book called Shattered But Not Broken. And you can find out more about what he's doing and the things he's doing to try to change some laws. And his number is 708-566-6446. And he's at info@jstyles.com. Again, what we're doing as well on April 13th, 2019, Saturday, 2:30 to 5:30, business showcase. I'll be doing a class, so you might want to come there. It's going to be free. I'll be doing a class on business, promoting, branding. So you want to come there and take a lot of notes. I'm pretty much going to hold down the whole thing that particular day. April 27th, 2019, Saturday, 2:30 to 5:30. You can be in the speaker showcase and come there and hit some good speakers. May 4th, another business showcase. And May 18th, another author showcase. If you want me to distribute your business card uh, at one of my events, get in contact with me, drtonygan at gmail.com. If you want to promote your business on the show, want me to do that on the show, like I've done these 10 people, trust me, I'll find room for you too. And on one of my shows, you can definitely get in touch with me as well. Remember, Sunday, my new show called A Greater You, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock here on Intellectual Radio. Where I give you a formation of what the show will be about this Sunday. I'll be discussing quite a few things before we go into next month. The book of next month is Becoming a Better Me. You can get that from unknowngreatness.com. And keep in mind that great authors aren't born, they're made. And I'll see you next time.